This episode's sponsored by Zazzle.com. Let's face it, you love us. Why not use the coupon code EVERYDRINK13 at Zazzle.com and save 10% off $50 or more on awesome shirts, mugs, and accessories you probably don't need but want real bad. Remember code EVERYDRINK13. Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. I'm your host, Eric Schomer. Today we're going to create the Highland Margarita. This recipe was something I kind of found. I was looking for a recipe that had, well, there's two things I was going for. We haven't done tequila in a while.
Yay.
So I wanted a tequila recipe. I also wanted to use Drambuie. And I happened to find something that brought them both together. And this recipe's got, so it's got like this is, Drambuie is a, let's see, a secret recipe of herbs, spices, heather, honey, crafted with aged Scotch whiskies. So, Scotch whiskies, Highland Margarita. And I chose out of my supply of crazy, what do you call them? Tequilas. I went with Reposado. You can go with a white if you want to, if you want a little I call it rough or less defined character. Not bad, just different. I went with the Reposado, a little more age to it. And I went with Tres Generaciones because I haven't used them in a while. Not that I've used tequila in a while either. That's a cool bottle. Also, so we're going to do 1.5 ounces of tequila. Boom. We're going to do a 1/2 ounce of the Drambuie. We're going to do... Ooh. Hold on. We got more in the house.
You forgot an ingredient.
I did. Let me see if I can find it. Do we have Grand Marnier around here?
We did.
We'll use this one. Grand Marnier, we're going to do a 1/2 ounce of Grand Marnier and 1 ounce of sweet sour mix. So there you go. And, I had this cooking up already. Salt, ribbing. So what I did for that prior to the show, which is apparently good because I forgot the other ingredient, is I used my sweet sour mix, put it in my cup, rolled it around on the top, landed it on top of the, and use that as a stick. Use the sweet sour mix as a stick to hold the salt. So you can kind of combine since you've already got that ingredient needed. And now you get nice, and it should get nice and firm because it's been there for a while. Like 3 minutes. So you got that going for you. Alright. We'll mix it all up. We're going to shake this drink. We'll start with the tequila because it was within arm's reach. So we're going to do 1.5 ounces of Reposado or silver or whatever. That's weird. We pulled out the shaker, but apparently I put it away, or one of us put it away with my beer mug.
It works. You can still shake.
I can, and I will. That's the other thing. For people who ask, why do I use a Boston shaker, besides the fact that I can't stand the 3-part cobbler shakers where they freeze up and you can't get them apart, so you can only really make one cocktail before the thing's solid, because the shrinking of the air inside, sucking the metal together and you can't move it, annoys me. So I use that. And if you could find the Boston shaker, typically it's going to come with 2 pieces, but if it doesn't come with 2 pieces, just use a pint glass or whatever that is, or beer glass, with one of these steel bottoms. Pretty cool. A little bit of Grand Marnier, 1/2 ounce. Which is something I typically use often in a margarita anyway. Typically and often being kind of conflicting.
Usually.
Basically an orange liqueur.
Conflicting.
Are they? No? Typically often. But I also like a Tuaca. I also like an orange liqueur, like a Citron or Cointreau. Looks like a margarita. Smells like kind of like a margarita. Shake it up. There you go. The other reason to use a Boston shaker is it just looks cool. So, you could use a little more, I guess, to top it off the top. If you wanted to make a couple of them, you can always fill it better, or get a smaller highball glass. This one's from awesomedrinks.com. But it looks like a margarita, just not in a margarita glass. So you got something a little different. Smells like lime and reposado. Big win. Oh, also, I'm not a big fan of salt on the sides. I either like sugar or really the best one for me is nothing. That's my favorite, but the sugar, I mean the salt, not a big fan. I always think of licking the pavement in the wintertime. Like that salty.
You're weird.
I know. It tastes like a margarita, but a little more smooth, less sour. You still get that nice defined reposado, but there's a different smooth factor. You know what it is? Think less agave, which is your core component. Like I usually use in my margaritas an agave nectar like this for sweetener. Plus it brings a lot more of the agave taste. This has a little more of the whiskey, oaky, not even really, yeah, a little bit of oak finish blended with the agave. So it's almost like an aged, maybe even an añejo, where you get a little of the oakiness, bringing up the quality of your reposado without actually having to use an añejo in a drink, which can get pretty expensive. So if you're looking for more of a mature, rounded, smooth margarita, try the Highland Margarita. There it is. I'm your host, Eric Schomer, for EverydayDrinkers.tv. Behind the scenes, Jennifer. We're teaching you how to drink.